to the Thought Snob Podcast. I'm Paula Swope. Let's get snobby. I want to talk about how the Saturn-Neptune conjunction has felt. Like, not just what it means technically, but how it has actually shown up in my life. So that's what this episode is about. But I also want to tell you about something else. There's a twist in this story. I found out I'm also in my Chiron Return. If you're around the age of 49 or 50, 51, you need to listen. You should also pay close attention if your dream state has been bizarre. Saturn and Neptune started dancing together last year. This energy's been lingering for a while. It isn't sudden. It's subtle. It creeps in. Now, on February 20th, 2026, Saturn and Neptune meet at 0 degrees Aries. That's a big deal. 0 degrees Aries is the beginning of the entire zodiac. It's the cosmic reset button. It's raw creation energy. You know, that first spark. Aries is fire. When planets meet at 0 degrees Aries, something is being born. But first, something has to end. Old identities dissolve so a new cycle can begin. Based on my experience, this is not gentle energy. It's honest energy. If what I say resonates with you, I promise you'll get answers to questions you haven't been able to explain. So first, let's talk about these planets. Saturn is boundaries, structure, authority, tradition, rules. It's also self-doubt, fear, discipline, ambition, and control. And Neptune is the opposite. Neptune is creativity, intuition, imagination, spirituality. It's the stronger energy. Neptune says, let your intuition guide you. Saturn says, let's follow the rule book. Neptune rules the subconscious. At its lower levels, Neptune shows up as escapism, illusion, delusion, deception, denial, and confusion, just to name a few. Now, here's the best example of how these two planets work together. You build a beautiful sandcastle. You spend hours on it. You've got this beautiful structure. And then the tide rolls in and washes it all away. Neptune dissolves structures that are no longer sustainable or were built on illusion. It's like if you ever thought that sandcastle was going to be forever, that was absolutely, delusional thinking. So people can't wear masks forever. Like eventually they get exposed. And this conjunction affects the collective and individuals. If you want to know how it affects you personally, take a look at where Saturn and Neptune are transiting in your natal chart. People with a Saturn-Neptune conjunction in their natal chart will be affected the most by this current astrological event, okay? Now, if you don't know how to check your natal chart, if you don't know how to look at the transits, I can help you with that. You can email me at paula@paulaswope.com. Now, I already did a podcast episode about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, but I didn't talk about how it has felt. And my dreams have been more vivid than ever. And Neptune has been in Pisces at 29 degrees, so people are receiving messages from the other side through their dreams. The dream state has been intense. Neptune triggers the subconscious and the dream state. If you've been dreaming about estranged family members or things from the past, as I have been, that's emotional stuff floating up showing you what you need to let go of. Neptune is the great dissolver. It's dissolving the old and unraveling the past and bringing it all to the surface. And personally, I think that these dreams are helping us accomplish in our dreams what can't be accomplished in the physical realm. Okay? All right, so back to Saturn. Saturn is very strong in my natal chart. And just in case you don't know what a natal chart is, it's a snapshot of what was happening in the universe when you were born. I see it as a chart of becoming, a to-do list for this lifetime. We're supposed to evolve. And if we don't, well, we ain't going to be real happy. I was born on Christmas Day, 1976, Taurus rising, Pisces moon, Capricorn sun. Those are my 3 primary placements. So Saturn rules Capricorn, and that's why Saturn energy has always impacted me, especially with work. I'm a hard worker. I don't stop working, but I enjoy it. Saturn also carries pessimism. If I'm not doing work that I love to do, if I'm doing stuff I don't want to do, oh, my attitude turns sour real fast. So astrology has been a gift because it gives me information, and information guides my free will. And through my free will, I can avoid the things I don't want. That's where astrology gives you a major advantage over your life. So early in 2025, I started feeling indifferent toward certain people who had always been in my life. Feeling indifferent towards someone is the worst, because that means you just don't really care about them at all. If you say you hate someone, they still have control over you. But if you're indifferent, they don't have any control over you. Therefore, they can't influence anything at all in your life. But earlier last year, I just started seeing things I hadn't seen before. And one person especially stands out. My intuition always told me, this person couldn't be trusted and that they were hiding things, and very unexpectedly, it all came out and the relationship ended abruptly. Now, here's the strange part. I didn't care. As a matter of fact, I even felt relieved. In the past, when lifelong relationships ended, I grieved pretty hard. And, this time I didn't. I realized I had been operating under the illusion that I cared when I didn't. Saturn held that relationship together because Saturn says, stay, that's tradition. And Neptune was like, no, I know what you need, and dissolved it. Then the indifference kept coming, like toward multiple people, fast, strong, confusion. It started out subtle, and all of a sudden I lost interest in these people completely. I couldn't understand why I suddenly wasn't interested in people I'd associated with my entire life. So I second-guessed myself and kept associating. And that makes sense. Saturn is self-doubt, Neptune is confusion. But when I was around these people, they showed me why I felt the way I did. And every time I was around them, I regretted it. I regretted being around them. Now, let's flash back to September 2025 when I started taking astrology classes. One of the first things we learned about was this February 20th conjunction. And a light bulb went off. 3 very significant relationships ended last year. I didn't grieve those relationships ending. I was disappointed in myself for doubting my intuition, but I didn't lose sleep over losing them. And by that point, there was no self-doubt. Neptunian energy wiped away my self-doubt and enhanced my intuition like never before. Do you realize that being in relationships that aren't meant for you weakens your intuition? The moment those relationships dissolved, my intuition strengthened. And it's continued to strengthen. Now, I don't know about you, but I'll take my sixth sense over some clown any day of the week. So it was more than a fair trade for me. I can't count how many times I sat at my desk in my office wondering why I no longer felt anything for certain people. And at the same time, new people entered my life. Other relationships strengthened personally and professionally. Those old relationships were draining the life out of me. It is constant drama that had nothing to do with me. They were just trying to drag me back into old shit that I escaped way over a decade ago. So this conjunction gave me validation, information, and strength to let go of absolute bullshit. Those people refused to accept who I am now. They still see me as the troublemaking 18-year-old that appeared as though she really was going nowhere. Well, that girl is gone, and she's been gone for a really long time. 49-year-old Paula, who has her shit together, who helps people, who isn't broke, who has a beautiful home and a beautiful family that I created, and who doesn't screw people over. Well, guess what? That threatens fragile egos. The old version made them feel a lot better about themselves. That was an illusion. That was Neptune. Now Saturn's like, y'all gonna learn a lesson now. So Saturn and Neptune are transiting my 12th house. And when I figured that out, when I saw that, I was like, well, of course they are. I mean, that's the house of the hidden, the subconscious, psychic ability, spirituality, meditation, breath work, solitude, and that energy working together is telling me, Paula, it's time to go deeper and just be who you really are, just really step into that and embrace it. And who I really am is someone with profound intuitive and psychic abilities, and I doubted that for years. Not anymore. Now, very quickly, here's how this conjunction may impact you based on the house it's activating in your chart. I'm going to just run through these at a rapid fire pace, and I strongly encourage you to dig just a little bit deeper if you aren't familiar with the houses. So the first house, this is all about you. This is the self. So you might feel like your identity is dissolving and you're gonna, rebuild it in some way, like you're becoming someone new. Second house, this is the money that you make. These are the assets that you accumulate on your own. So money, values, and maybe any self-worth illusions that you have may collapse, and something new may come in and take their place. Third house, this is your immediate environment. This is, early learning. So this is, communication, siblings, and mental patterns may shift, okay? Fourth house, this is your family of origin. An example may be family structures and emotional foundations dissolve. Fifth house, this is the love that you give. This is the house of doing fun things like movie, theater, if you enjoy gambling or playing games. That's what's under the fifth house. And so with this conjunction, creativity, romance, or children may bring reality checks. One of my classmates, where I am taking astrology classes, she had a child that had been deceiving her. And she got a reality check about that just recently. So sixth house, this is your physical health, the physical work you do, your daily routine. That's, that structured daily schedule. Work habits and health routines will likely change, okay? Seventh house. This is your relationship with the other person. This is like your marriage or, who you're dating. Relationships can end, they may end, or transform dramatically. The eighth house, this is other people's money. This is, mortgages, car payments, all those contracts that you enter into that, eventually end after things are paid off. In the eighth house, deep psychological, sexual, or financial truths may surface. In the ninth house, this is more distant places. This is foreign travel, higher learning. Beliefs, faith, and life philosophy could be rewritten. In the 10th house, this is your public life. This is your house of career. Career identity may dissolve and new paths could possibly emerge. The 11th house, this is love received from others. These are groups of people. These are your relationships with your community, social groups, your groups of people. So friendships and community connections may fall away while ones that are better for you are formed, okay? And then the 12th house, and I already touched on this a bit. This is your mental health. This is your state of mind and the behind the scenes stuff, your subconscious. Spiritual awakening, psychic activation, deep surrender. You may feel called towards these things more than ever. And Saturn and Neptune are transiting my 12th house, and I can tell you that is true for me. That was a real quick and dirty overview. I encourage you to dig deeper. I want you to use this energy to your advantage. Don't fight it. What's dissolving was never meant to last. Let it fall away and make room for all of the great people, places, and things that want to find you. Lastly, my Chiron return. Chiron is the wounded healer, and it represents a wound that needs to be healed in this lifetime. Chiron takes 50 years to go around, so it shows up in our lives around the age of 50. You can't put astrology into any strict timeline, so your Chiron return can happen between the ages of 59, can happen between the ages of 49 to 51-ish. And it shows up as a test. Like you'll get tested by something that has tested you your whole life. And either you fail the test or you've done the work and you respond with, no, Chiron, I'm done with this shit, bro. So wherever Chiron is in your chart and whatever sign it's in will tell you what needs to be healed. Mine is an Aries, guess what, in my 12th house. And it's retrograde, so that shows me the wound happened in the past. It happened in a past life. And evidently, I didn't heal that wound, so here I am again dealing with it. But this round, I've healed it, and I know what it is, a strong awareness of what it is. So while all this newfound indifference was going on last year, I didn't even think about my Chiron return. And I found out a few days ago that I'm in my Chiron return, and it occurs in these windows of time. And mine wraps up completely in February 2027. I'm not the least bit worried about it, because when those tests pop up, I'm going to know why, and I'm not going to fail those tests. Now, if we don't deal with our dragons, they show up during transits. Keep that in mind. That's all I have for you today. If any of this resonated, please leave a comment. I want to know about your experiences. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
The Thought Snob Podcast with Paula Swope has been brought to you by Thought Snob Media in association with Special Purpose Studios. All production, mixing, and sound engineering by me, Will Swope. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please take a few seconds to give us 5 stars and leave a review. See you on the next Thought Snob Podcast with Paula Swope.